So this is only my second live, so I do apologise if it's not obviously the greatest in the world. I know, I appreciate that. Lots of people will be at work and happen to be off today, but just wanted to talk about the condition of my fish, really. Um, so let's have a look around the garden so you can get to see what state it's in. It's not in a great state because obviously it's work in progress. So I thought I'd just swing you around so you can see. So, ladies and gentlemen, so for those of you that'll watch the live later on, I thought I'd just show you the condition of what I'm up to at the moment. So, this is the depth of the pond when it's finished, and obviously I've never had a problem with herons before. So this is the first time I've ever seen a heron, in my garden. But I just wanted to showcase what I'm up to at the moment. So what I'm doing here is I'm just extending the size of my pond a little bit. So I'm going to have it up to where these flags are, all the way along there, and in with these sleepers. I've moved these sleepers from the side of the pond, obviously, and I've got these pieces of sleepers that I've got here. It's about 90 to 80 centimeters, and they'll extend the pond quite a bit away out. Obviously, many of you have been watching my recent videos, and this is where the carnage happened. So obviously it's not that deep. I appreciate that, and many people have commented on that, but obviously we had a net over it, and the heron just hacked my fish to pieces. Couldn't get them out, but just wouldn't let them go. And I even had one fish fall out, but it was behind the net, and that's still alive at present. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update what I'm up to. So obviously the pond will be a lot bigger and deeper. I think really it's actually 1 meter deep. Now they recommend to avoid herons your pond needs to be at least 2 feet deep. But those of you who have criticised what I've been doing regarding having them in there, it was a temporary thing for a few days. I've never seen herons come into my garden before. Let me just show you why I think that. So, as you can see, I've got a big fence there, very high. I've got a garage that runs along. Then I've got a large factory wall at the back of my garden. Then I've got a large fence at that side where the neighbour is. And they've got a large fence on their side as well. And obviously we've got the house as well. So the odds of having a heron see into my garden isn't that great in terms of sky real estate. So this is why I thought I won't get herons coming into the garden. And to be frank, I don't live really close by any sort of ponds as such. The nearest pond is in Batley, and that's about 1/4 of a mile away, maybe a mile away. Some distance away, put it that way. And that's basically the garden area, Now, I do have a bit of some sad news. Now, I had 3 goldfish in here. I haven't been able to find any in here at all, apart from one. Let me see if I can coast him out. There you go. That's the one. That's it. Did you see that, guys? It's I've got a shabunkin there. There he is. Can you see him? There was two other goldfish in here, but they've vanished. And I kept those fish for 2 years. So as you can appreciate that, I'm not a bit miffed at that. But you know, it's a bit of a downer for me at the moment. So let me just show you the fish again in the garage. Probably not a lot of people who get to watch this because you're probably at work. But this is what I've created. We've got the large pool here, which is just an inflatable child pool. Put some water in, and I've got my 3 goldfish. Now I have treated the water. I'll tell you what I've treated it with in a moment when I go and get the bottle. But if I show you the butterfly koi, they are breathing, but they're just lying there. There seems to be more life in that one than there is in that one. So it's a bit of a downer today that they've not come back round. As for the other 3 fish that we've got here, got yellow koi, an orange one and another orange one. They're not eating food really. I've put a bit of food in just around there. They're not eating, but it is very cold. It's 5 degrees. So could it be the cold, or could it be, you know, that they're just not well enough to eat? I don't know. So I just wanted to show you what I've done in here just to keep them out of the way of the herring. I know some people have left comments saying, oh, if I see it, I'll get hold of it and wring its neck, you know, that sort of thing. You know, I can understand why people feel like that, because I feel like that, you know. Let me just show you a new filter box that's recently arrived. Now, before I show you that, let me just show you the filter box I used to have. So this is the wooden planter box that I used as a filter. I basically put a liner in this, and we did have a stainless steel spillway on there. The spillway looks like one of those over there. It was stainless steel, and then obviously I had a tank connector there, and a valve on the back to let wastewater out. But I've decided that I wanted something a bit smaller, because this was a bit on the large size. Because we've got that surge filter I recently bought. If anyone's interested in the Evolution Aqua Surge filter, very much like the Tempest, check out one of my videos. You'll be able to find it. But that's the planter box. So we can either give that away or fill it with soil and use it as a planter. That's what they are really, planter boxes. But let me show you the new one that's turned up. So we have a new planter box. So let me just show you. So here's the planter box, the new one. So basically it's 1.2 meters long. It's not quite as long as the other one you saw, but basically it's lined with plywood. And I'm going to basically line that with something called pond armour. The pond armour stuff is basically a resin. It's an epoxy resin. It's actually come from America, and I'll basically paint it on and make it completely waterproofed. And I won't bother putting any tank connectors in. There's no need. It's relatively small. The only thing that sort of disappointed me is when I asked the guy on eBay to build it for me, I asked him to make sure it was big enough to fit this planter basket, These are collapsible crates that you could use to fill media in, and slot that in there. But as you can see, doesn't fit, does it? Quite frustrating. So either I return this, or I try and get some more baskets like this that are a bit smaller. It's a bit annoying because it should fit, you know. I told the guy the planter baskets are going to be 27 centimeters wide, but they don't fit. You know, I don't know how you can get that wrong because I gave him the full dimensions, you know. So that's one little thing that's not too good. So Scarfy 100 says, "Hi mate, they're still alive then." Yeah. Let me go back to the garage, guys. So yeah, basically three of them are. These three are swimming around a little bit. The reason I got this is I didn't want them to be in here because they were just stuck doing nothing. I wanted to give them some space to swim around. And they are swimming around a little bit, but as you can see, not much. They're just more or less stationary at the moment, swimming a little bit, not much though. The butterfly koi though, he's motionless almost apart from breathing. Got one there, the other orange butterfly koi, he's not motionless either. Now some people have recommended that I euthanize these two fish. What do you guys think? It's not something I want to do, but it might be kinder to do that for them. Let me just see if I've got I've got some oil here. Not in all this mess somewhere. I think it's clover oil some people use. Sorry for the mess, guys. It's just I've been in the middle of a ton of things. Incidentally, when someone mentioned regarding the filter box that I've got made up here, they mentioned use one of these bags to fill the lava rock in to hold it together, and that's a good idea actually. I would recommend that. So it means when you want to clean this out, you just pull the bag out instead of trying to pull out individual pieces of lava rock. So that's definitely a good idea. Aquascape do a similar thing when they sell their spillways. So yeah, I'll probably end up putting the lava rock in that bag. Yeah, I'm not sure where the oil's gone, but basically it's clover oil, I think. And I've been told it's not the best way to go though when it comes to the fish. So you know, I'm on two minds what to do here. Do I leave them and give them a bit more time to see if they recover, or is it too cold? Because we're at 5 degrees at the moment. Considering it's April, it's bloody freezing, don't you guys think? I thought it'd be a lot warmer than 5 degrees. It's been hard to go outside and do some work. Now, Lee from Japanese Water Garden has been in touch with me, and he says use some salt. Now, some of you guys have already recommended this. This is Epsom salt that I've got in this bag here. And it's probably about a kilo there. I've sprinkled some of that in here, but not a great deal. So I'm not sure if putting more in will be helpful or not. So let's just check out the medicine that I've got. Now, while I know quite a bit about pond building, I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to medicines. So I bought this lot here. So I bought this called Pond Medic Macrotide Green 1%, an effective treatment for aquatic parasites including white spot. And I've got this, they're all from Yorkshire Koi, Yamitushi. Uh, Bacticide, an effective treatment for bacterial infections including fin rot and fungus. I've got another one here called Pond Medic Formalin 30%, an effective treatment for parasites including cingulates, flukes and white spot. And the one that everyone's been suggesting, including Gaz's Koi Pond, he suggested this stuff. So it's called Pond Medic Acryliferin 1%, an effective treatment for fin, tail and mouth rot, including ulcers, bacterial and fungal infections. Now, Lee from Japanese Water Garden Store up in Nottingham has suggested this stuff. So this is what I put in. I put in just enough. You need to be careful with the amount you put in though. They come with like a measuring carton thing. This measuring carton thing here. And it's labelled, I don't know if you can see, but it's labelled with 10 mils, 5 mils and 20 mils. So I sort of worked out, I put some actually in here in the indoor pond. You know, obviously there's no chance of these fish getting touched by that effing heron. And these are my free pride and joy goldfish that I've got here. I've got a shabunkin, a white goldfish and a red one there. I've had them for about 3 years and always hungry for food, so let's just give them some food. I'm always hungry to come and get food. So they're quite nice, these fish. I always look after them and keep them on in here. So if you're wondering what this is a half moon. I think it's 350 litres Blagden setup. It's quite nice because it has its own central waterfall and another waterfall. It's connected to where you can have both running. But I always found that the waterfall that comes with it is really noisy, so I just prefer to have the globe coming on. So let me just turn that on so you can see it. That's the globe. There's a bit of algae on there though, that sort of restricts it. It's more like moss, to be honest. You just clean it off and then you've got your globe. Yeah, Scarthy, that's a good idea. I could use the bags for the planter box, but what I'm thinking is I've managed to find some on Amazon that are a bit smaller. They're about 21 centimeters wide, so there'll be about a bit of a gap, probably about 2 centimeters gap either side. But I suppose I'll have to live with that water. But yeah, essentially I'm probably going to have 3 filters running on my pond. This filter box, which is a lot shorter than the other one, but I wanted something a bit more compact. We've got the Aqua Evolution Surge filter. If I go back into the garage, got the Aqua Evolution Surge filter. You can get through all this mess. Got the Aqua Evolution Surge here, which cost me £300. It's quite an expensive unit, but it has ball valves instead of those gate valves like you get on the Tempers, so it's a bit better and it's not clear, so you won't get algae inside that. And then I'll probably end up using either this filter that I've built here, or or utilise the bowl filter. If anyone's interested in how I built the bowl filter, the plants seem to be dying off a little bit though. Probably needs some water. What I could do is just pop the hose pipe on and show you it working. So yeah, that's the bowl filter I built. It's based on the Aquascape bowls that you can buy, the spillway bowls. But this cost me £13 for the bowl, and for the various bits and bobs, maybe you could say it costs about 40 quid. Such as, you know, the bulkhead connector and the pipe, and maybe a cheap pump or something. Probably talking about a £50 setup, where the Aquascape one, £600 just for the spillway bowl. big price difference. So thought you'd appreciate looking at that. So that's where we're at the moment, guys. Is anyone out there doing their own ponds builds at the moment? I've been looking at lots of methods of making your pond safe from herons, and a lot of people are using huge nets. The thing is, they are quite ugly having huge nets, aren't they? But that's what we're up to at the moment, guys. Yeah. I did want to say a big thank you to Martin's Koi Pond. He's got a pond and garden YouTube channel. You guys are probably familiar with it. He's offered to send me some artwork for the pond, and I just wanted to say a big. It hasn't arrived yet, but I just wanted to say a big thank you. That's very generous. He even offered to send me some butterfly koi, obviously when I've got this all fixed and sorted it out, and that's a very generous offer as well. So I just want to say thank you for that as well. You know, there's been a lot of people making comments that have been quite positive, quite nice and supportive and encouraging and genuine, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's been nice, basically, about the present situation. There's many people out there who will probably say it was your own fault. You left the fish out where someone could come and attack them. Well, when it was only for a few days, in hindsight, it's easy to say, isn't it? Until it happens to you. So, you know, and those of you that are probably go on Gaz's live stream tonight, hope you have a good time. And if you don't already know that he has a live stream he does every Thursday, it's called Gaz's Koi Pond. Check it out if you don't already know about it. But yeah, so I don't really know what more I can say regarding what's been going on regarding the pond builds. I'm just debating on how deep I should make this pond. Now, they say herons can't really go into water that's deeper than 2 foot. So the deep part of my pond it's 1 meter deep, which equates to about 3 feet. I've never thought you really need a pond to be deeper than 3 feet, but it might be wise to make it a little bit deeper. But essentially, I'm contemplating getting a box liner. I don't know about you guys. Do you think box liners are worth it? Or is it better just to try and get a regular liner? Because don't forget, those box liners can be quite expensive. So Big Rick says, I wouldn't normally comment, but you have to put those poor koi out of their misery. Um, Big Rick, which ones are you thinking of? Are you thinking about all of them, or just the two that are on their side? Um, don't get me wrong, I probably agree with you, you know. Um, I'm just hoping the other three can pull through. And I suspect they'll be heavily scarred if they do pull through. Scarfy 100 says beautiful liner is good enough. Well, I have used Firestone liner. The liner that I did have in there before was a Firestone 0.8 millimeter thick Firestone. But obviously, whenever you buy Firestone, you are paying for the name sometimes, because a lot of people get the 1 mil thick Firestone liner, EPDM. I recommend EPDM all the way, guys. A lot of people get plastic or they get polyester. Problem with polyester is silicone doesn't attach to it. Hello, Willis, Koi, and Wire Trees. Nice to see you. I didn't think many people would be coming on, if I'm honest with you. I thought everyone would be at work. Sometimes when I'm driving around and I'm doing my job, I sometimes wonder why there's so many people on the road. Don't they have jobs to do, you know? Yeah, so Big Rick, Will's Koi and Wire Trees was saying I should consider putting the 2 butterfly koi out of their misery. Now, since you've just come on, I'll show you. It's not something I want to do. I don't like doing this at all, but maybe it's the best thing. Let's just switch the camera around. You must have a short day then, Scarfy. Yeah, so yeah, this is the 2 butterfly koi. If I'm honest with you, I think the orange one, because it's got fungus, it makes it even worse, I think. But the fact they're not swimming at all is a bit sad. And maybe I need to face facts that these 2 aren't going to recover. You always hope, don't you, that they will get better. But they just don't seem to be willing to come back. Let's have a look at the other 3. These are the non-ghost koi. So we've got a yellow one there and 2 multicoloured orange ones there. Hopefully you can see. But they're not swimming much. The yellow one seems to be swimming a lot better than the other 2. Now I have put some food in, but they're not touching it. But you know what? It is 5 degrees. It's incredibly cold for April. I would expect it to be in at least 15 degrees by now. What are your temps like in your area? Because originally I got this this dog bath from Amazon, but it started leaking. I was having a water leak on that, so I had to rush to B&Q and get this, which is just like an inflatable ring. It's a triple walled polyester child bath, basically child pool, and I put that in here and it's doing all right. Well, obviously there's more oxygen here. I do have this Pond One O2 Plus 4000. I think it's a 22 watt air pump, and I basically adapted this sponge thing that we've got in there, and connected it up with this, and it was working fine for a while. In fact, it's working fine, no problems, but they're just not coming around even with oxygen. I put the plate there because I've got that green sucker there that I can pull that out and attach it to the centre, and obviously allow lots of oxygen in there. There's plenty of oxygen in there already though. I put some in last night, so according to Lee from Japanese Water Gardens, he reckons I should put in about the equivalent of 1 kilo of salt to every 1,000 litres I've got. So there's about 450 litres in here. So we'd want about 450 grams of salt in there. I've put some treatment that I've already mentioned in there. And it's just a matter of seeing if they come round, unfortunately. So really, there's not much more I can do but wait and see. Might be worthwhile getting a heater in here. That's a good idea, actually. I might get one of those aquarium heaters and put one in here and see if that helps, But what's the general consensus with these three fish here? Do you think they'll survive? Just don't know. Only time will tell, I guess. I know it's a bit of a mess, so I do apologise for the mess. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess in here and all. I've been sorting out that filter, that filter box. I don't know if Will's Koi and Y trees have seen it yet. I did a video on it, and someone mentioned that I should put the lava rock in like a bag like this. So you can just pull the lava rock out and give it a good clean. And then someone said something regarding these sponges. Instead of having it that way up, have it that way up. I'm not sure if it would make much of a difference either way, but I'll give it a try and see if having it that way down will work better. So as for the water, guys, this was a complete 100% water change. I used this Fish Protect dechlorinator. I went to a koi dealer recently, and he said, "Oh, this will work great for your fish and keep them healthy." But it's just a dechlorinator. There's nothing there to help fish. Pretty expensive as well. I got it from a store called Norata Lulis in Wakefield. I drive there go up there quite often. Go past the store, but I think they give me pretty much wrong information, because this is just a dechlorinator. This won't, help your fish in any shape, way, or form in terms of looking after them. So that's the condition of the fish, guys. Nothing to say much more than that. I'm just in the process of working on this. So if I jump down, it's about 1 metre deep in total. What I'm thinking about doing is getting rid of these shelves here, up to that point there, and then having a bit of a shelving area there, and getting a large twin wall drainage pipe, cut to about 1/2 metre long, and putting that in there to protect the fish. No, I looked at Wakefield Koi, Scarfy, but apparently it's not open all the time. It's like by private appointments or something like that. That's what I looked on Google, apparently. Apparently it's not always open, so that's why I didn't really visit it. Um, but I do tend to go to a place in Garforth. I've done a video on that. The only thing that sort of annoyed me was when we were up to temps of 10 degrees. Before all this happened, obviously, he refused to sell me some fish, and I thought, but it's 10 degrees. Yeah, I could understand it if it was like 0 degrees or 5 degrees, but 10 degrees, I thought that was more than warm enough. But maybe he just doesn't feel it's the right time to give fish to people. But he never asked some probing questions like, well, do you have an indoor pond? Would you keep them indoors for a little while? You know. I am thinking about going to Nottingham, and I don't know if Lee from Japanese Water Garden ever sees my videos. He sometimes says he does, but I'd be interested in going up there and doing like a store visit, maybe doing an interview with him. Would you guys be interested in that? I don't know if it's something people would be interested in watching, because he's very knowledgeable, and as you probably know, he has a big YouTube channel with about 17,000 subscribers, and I think a lot of people find his videos and insight very informative. This is where the pool was. I moved it from here, and obviously the grass was dying, so I've moved it to hopefully let the grass live a bit better, recover hopefully. Here I've got a lot of trees and conifer trees growing, obviously. Now I did have a massive conifer tree, literally massive. I cut it down and I took down the stump. You may have seen that video, and I ended up hurting my back in the process of it. Getting a stump on is hard work without a chainsaw, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're going to cut down a tree, get yourself a chainsaw. That's my advice. We've got some fruit trees here as well. So I have a cherry tree here, although all the cherries seem to vanish. We have a plum tree, a apple tree, a pear tree, and I did have a blackberry bush as well, but it was leaning to the left, so I had to get rid of it. I cut it down, but it might be coming back actually. And rhubarb. A lot of people like to get hold of rhubarb, whenever I'm growing it, and this thing grows like mad when that blackberry tree has been cut down. So it's nice rhubarb. Get some sugar, and freeze it for later. It's nice to have a nice rhubarb plant. Hey, you're a lot warmer than it is here, Big Rick. It's according to my computer, it's 5 degrees, so it's very cold. It's no fun doing work in the garden when it's freezing cold, is it? So the bit of bad news I have for you guys is I've only found one goldfish in the small pond. There was 3 in there. What's so upsetting about it is I've had them in there for 2 years. Now, there was 2 white ones in there. I assumed the cold weather killed them off, but I never found their bodies. Who's to say the heron didn't take them? I just don't know. Looks much better without the conifer, you said, Scarfy. Yeah, well, the thing is, the biggest problem with that conifer tree that I had here was dumping all of its crap into the pond. Literally. Not only that, it was dumping it all along the floor, round the back of the pond, round the front. It was clogging up my skimmer box all the time. And I had to basically contemplate, would it be better just to get rid of it? And that's what I had to do. So what I did is I transplanted that bush plant that I had growing in the soakaway that we've got over there, and I moved it here, and basically tidied it up a bit, and hopefully it looks better, you know. Also here I ripped up the flags, which was red and yellow, put a concrete bed down because I was getting weeds growing through, and then put these new buff flags down on a bed of about 2 inch of concrete, and that's more or less it really. So the only problem I get is when I put my chair, that green chair, on here, the wind blows it over there, you know. So it's a bit annoying that with the wind. It gets quite windy up here in the north. I'm based in near Leeds, if you're wondering, so it can get quite windy up here. Yeah, thanks for that, Scarfy 100. Yeah, it took a lot of work doing that. And also, I've probably not told you guys that what I have done here. Basically, my flags was originally here. What I ended up doing was I lifted the flags from there and moved them over here. So obviously you can see that we've got a row of flags there, and then I just filled in the space where I moved the flags and just filled it in with concrete. And then when I put the sleepers over here, there'll be like a quite a large you know, floor. You know, it's going to be, I'd say that the height of that is going to be 2 feet. But I can't see the heron getting in here. But what I might do is, if that's an issue, put a net all the way across there, all the way across there, and then you've got a 3 foot deep pond here. I'm going to make this a lot wider, and then I'm going to put one of those twin walled drainage pipes in there. You can use those as fish caves. I suspect if we had a fish cave in there, it would have saved our lives, I suspect. So in hindsight, I should have put some sort of fish cave in there. So that's something to think about. If you've got a pond, put a fish cave in it. Now I did that with the small pond actually. I have a fish cave literally there. You see those plants there? There's like a tunnel underneath. There's a fish cave there. So I suspect that's why my shabunkan is still alive and still in there, because that fish cave probably saved his life. The other two may be in there but just hiding, I don't know. It's just too bloody cold to put my bloody hand in there. I was trying with this pipe to coax one of them out, and as you saw, there was a shabunkan swimming around. But I think the temperatures are really cold at the moment, so I think a lot of fish are just in their dormant zone at the moment. Have a foot gap between net and water to keep the heron away. Yeah. What I could do is put... the thing is, guys, right, as I've mentioned before, I've never had a problem with herons in this garden, especially when this pond was running. My suspicion is this roof, and obviously the sleepers themselves are quite high. They're three sleepers high, and my suspicion is he couldn't gain access into here because of the roof. So another option obviously is to extend the roof as well. Yes, roofs are expensive, but it may be worth. I put metal stakes in ground, then stretched the net over. I have actually seen a video today, actually, ladies and gentlemen, where, just like you, Scarfy 100, someone put some rebar into the ground. But what he did is he got some pipe, you know, the flexible pipe you can buy from your local hardware store, PVC pipe, and he just like created an arch over the pond, and then he put the net over the arches and attached them to obviously the certain points in the ground, away from the pond, and he used that as a net catcher, but it looks like a pretty good solution for keeping herons out as well. Another option is get a dog that you keep in your garden. Just out of interest, how many of you guys have got dogs? And do you use your dog as a deterrent? Does your dog like the fish? Does your dog enjoy the fish? Does your dog scare away any birds that come into your garden? I'm just curious because something that's being suggested is get a dog, you know, as a deterrent, you know. But I was just wondering, do people use their dogs as a deterrent? Do you keep them in the garden all the time, you know? So, yeah, I'm running out of things to say, so if anyone wants to say anything in the comments, let me know. I've also got this moss here. I took this moss, you know, I actually originally went to Batley Park and I found some moss growing on some rocks. As a few people at Aquascape, that's what they sort of do. They take a few bits from a local park and then they put it on top of their filter system, and obviously it grows. Some people use it to disguise things in their pond, like pipework, pumps, that sort of thing. They put it around a waterfall. I had it actually on top of the filter box when it was working. Check out that video. I did a build video on how to create one using one of these planter boxes, and I got some of this moss and put it on top, and I was getting a lot of algae growing on the top, and it was a pain because I had to keep getting a hose pipe to wash it down and break it up. But then I put some of this on and this started growing rapidly because obviously the fish waste was feeding it. And then after a couple of months I noticed there's no algae in the filter box. How come? And the moss took over and basically outcompeted the algae, and that's more or less what was keeping the algae away, the moss. So if you want to reduce algae in your ponds, and you do have like an in-ground pond like this, you can see it's quite green in there because I basically don't have any sort of filtration, but put some of this moss in. It will help to combat algae. And as everyone knows, the dreaded algae is one of the big enemies of most pond keepers. But yeah, this is the scene of the attack, and it's a pity because it was a nice little pool. The thing I just can't get out of my head is the fact that the effing heron just couldn't get the fish. So most people, if they couldn't get something after 10 or 20 minutes, would give up. But according to the CCTV footage, it went on for 2 hours. And that's why the fish looked so bad, because it just wouldn't leave them alone. Fortunately, the one that was out of the water. I don't know how he survived. I don't even know how he's still alive, if I'm honest with you. Because he was out of the water for about 3 hours. Because according to the CCTV footage, he got pulled out around 12 o'clock, right? Now, I finished work around 5 o'clock, so I got home just after 5 to find the disaster that I found. And then I found a fish lying there. Now, I assumed he was dead, just like the ghost koi one was, because he'd been out all night. But for some reason, he held on somehow. And I got him back in the water. While he was battered and not well, he was breathing, which I was really surprised about. So it just shows where there's a will, there's a way. Anyway, I don't think there's much more I can really say at the moment, so I'll just end the stream, the live. Just wanted to say a big thank you for everyone coming on. It's nice to know that there's some nice people out there. I do appreciate you guys coming on and checking out my videos. You know, I may not be the biggest YouTuber in the world, but at least I try and show you my mishaps, my mistakes, and if anything you can take away from my heron attack experience, hopefully it can show you what not to do, you know, and teach you a lesson, teach you something in regards to how to combat something, how to not make the same mistake I made. Because the last thing I want, guys, is for you to experience the same thing. You know, I won't want what happened to me to happen to my worstest enemy. So, you know, if you could take anything away from what's happened with me, is probably the best thing to do is keep your fish in a tank indoors, not outside. Because someone said, I keep my fish in a tank that's 60 centimeters deep. I don't think any sort of measure would have stopped that heron, apart from a pond that's maybe a meter deep. Because, well, just look at it from any sort of perspective. From here, that's a long way down, isn't it? And hard to get to, even for me, let alone a heron. So I think that would have kept the fish safe. But here, like someone has said, easy access here, isn't it? Fucking things out there. You know, I'm a wildlife photographer. I'm someone that likes wildlife, but not when they do this to innocent animals, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.